Hey, I hope y'all are doing well. It's your girl, Nat Bullen, back for another training. And I'm really excited about this one because I think it's really going to release some people. I think it's really going to get some people free from the constant push and pull that they have had with success. I want to give you all a little backstory in case you don't know this about me. First, I own Unapologetic Wealth. Unapologetic Wealth does revenue acceleration, money, and wealth coaching for small business owners just like you. I'm going to call a small business owner anybody with revenue under $10 million a year. Okay. And I help people specifically around showing up more so they can charge more, so they can make more money and be wealthy. And one thing that I've run up against often in my life, and something my clients run up against, is these metrics of success. So, first of all, I just want to tell you that I have every inclination, every predisposition for doing too much. I'm an Enneagram 8, which is the challenger. My number one Clifton strength is competition. My number three Clifton strength is achiever. Okay, positive intelligence gave me such a high mark on hyperachiever. It was damn near a 10 out of 10. I'm type A. I love money. Like, I got every quality you could have that will race you into constant achievement syndrome burnout. Every one of them. And so, if I can say this, I'm qualified to say we have to reevaluate our relationship with success. We have to rewrite what success means and get realistic. Now, the past few years, online has been a free for all. You could launch whatever you want, you could sell whatever you want. You didn't have to have qualifications, you didn't have to have a website, you didn't have to have any skill, you didn't have to have any talent. And from what I could tell, most of y'all didn't even have to market. I'm always impressed by people who just been floating around on referrals for years and years. Like, I just want to clap it up for you because day one, I had to go out there and hustle because didn't nobody know me. So if you started with people who knew who you were and was willing to pay you, you leapfrogged ahead of lowly Nat Bullen, okay? And so I think we've gotten disconnected from what it takes to create success. And I think we've lost sight of the fact that everything in business is an experiment. Now, if you are like me, if you are the breadwinner in your household, if your business fails and y'all gonna be in a cardboard box, then you gotta be careful with the amount of experimentation you take on. And yes, starting a podcast is experimentation. Launching a YouTube channel is experimentation. Having a private podcast is experimentation. Writing a book is experimentation. Having a live event is experimentation. Running a weekly webinar is experimentation. Running retargeting ads is experimentation. Going live on Facebook every week is experimentation. And so a lot of us are doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 experiments at a time. Now, damn near everybody that follows me went to college or a progressive type of high school. I take it that you've taken chemistry. Now, when you take chemistry and you take the accompanying chemistry lab, y'all took Chem 101 and 101L. Y'all took Chem 102 and 102L, right? When you get to the lab, you have to follow the instructions very precisely because one extra little drop of water in your burner or your little beaker, you're done, right? Imagine trying to run 12 different experiments in the chemistry lab at one time. You got this one boiling, you got this one doing a reaction. You're not going to know what worked, what didn't work, why they didn't work, because you're stretched too thin. And often I will see it, and I've done it. I am healed from doing too much. I would rather forfeit the money I paid somebody than do too much again. We have too many things running at the same time to be successful in any of them because we think they're tasks. There's a huge difference between a task and a project. Launching a podcast is a project with phases and multiple tasks. Deciding the name, recording the trailer, recording the commercial, deciding on the music, whether you're going to do it on video or audio only, whether you're going to have guests, the scheduling. It's a project. So it probably isn't wise to try to launch the podcast and 2, 3, 4, 5 other things At the same time, I'm guilty of this. I'm terrible at this. This is something I had to strategically work on. One of the things that we're going to add to Birthright is a module on intentional spending. And on that, in that module on intentional spending, there's going to be a lesson around how to link your purchases to your quarterly initiatives. And I'm going to challenge the women in Birthright to never have more than 2 quarterly initiatives. That's it. So that way, if you're going out to make a purchase, you got to ask yourself, is what I'm trying to buy in alignment with one of my strategic initiatives? If the answer is no, you probably don't need to buy this right now. Because why spend money in Q4 for an initiative you might not get around to until Q2? I also think that we don't give ourselves enough grace when it comes to brand new programs. So let's imagine you're Coca-Cola. You know, Coca-Cola has an OG product. They have a soft drink that is tried and tested, that has a perfected formula that is patented or copywritten, is protected in some way. And that is the bulk of their sales. The bulk of Coca-Cola sales are the OG Coca-Cola, not Diet Coke, not Coke Zero, not Cherry Coke, the OG. And that's what keeps them afloat. So when Coca-Cola wants to try to get in another market, like how they acquired Bai, I don't have one up here, but they're these wonderful, basically 0 calorie, no sugar drinks, if you will. Coca-Cola can experiment because their OG, their flagship product, is still making money. What a lot of us do is pivot way too rapidly. And I've done this before. I've had coaches tell me, stop selling everything you sell, stop coaching everybody you coach, fire all of your clients, and do this new thing. Imagine if Coca-Cola said, you know what, we're going to go in a different direction. Shut down the OG Coca-Cola. Do you really think there's any product they could launch right now today that would be able to replace all the sales from OG Coca-Cola? No. That's why they wouldn't do it. Right? But that's what a lot of us will do. We'll have a flagship offer, we'll have bread and butter, and then wonder why we have an issue. I can tell you, unapologetic wealth is historically 70 to 80% one-on-one clients. So 70 to 80% of our annual revenue comes from private clients, either ongoing or VIP days. When I decided I'm going to shift that to where the bulk of our revenue comes from group coaching programs, I knew we were going to have a revenue dip, because there's no way that brand new group programs are going to fill in the hole of 80% of our revenue. But that's what a lot of people expect. They expect to be able to bring something to the marketplace and it immediately sell. And I get it. Maybe that's happened for you before. I've had launches that went gangbusters before, but I don't think that's a normal pattern. I think we were in a hyper purchasing pattern because of COVID. People had pent up demand because they couldn't go travel where they wanted to. So yeah, they go to your retreat. They couldn't go where they wanted to go. Why not? But I think now we're in a more normal buying pattern and you're up against a lot of competition. I don't know if I've said this on a live before, but I'll say it again. You're not competing with your peers. So there are lots of people who do things similar to what I do. There are lots of accountants who coach people on money. There are CFOs who coach people on money. There are money coaches, wealth coaches, financial coaches, wealth psychologists that do some of the work that I do. There are all kinds of sales coaches and revenue acceleration coaches, and even some lead gen coaches do some of the stuff that I do. But that's not who I'm really up against. And that's not who you're up against either. Your competition is the lifestyle that your client wants to live, right? It's the challenges they're up against. You know, my father is in the hospital right now, and he's not well. He has some chronic conditions. He has some acute things going on. And overall, it's been very stressful for me. Because he's not anywhere near me. I'd have to fly from here to Dallas, from Dallas to Phoenix, and either drive from Phoenix to Yuma or fly from Phoenix to Yuma. So it's 3 flights there and it's 3 flights back, and it's stressful. It's stressful. It's a lot. I don't really like hospitals. I don't, it's bad. And I know my dad's going to need some care when he gets out, and dealing with the VA has been a nightmare. Like, I know. So I know that I'm going to need money to be able to support my father more. So if you're trying to sell me into a coaching program, frankly, I'm not thinking about you and your coaching program. I'm thinking about how can I make sure that I can support my family, because I might need to start doing more for my daddy than I'm currently doing for my daddy. Does that make sense? So a lot of times the way that people position their offer is we have hubris. We think, oh, this is the only offer in the world that somebody needs to buy, and it's not real, right? And it's unrealistic to think that the very first time you launch something, you're going to have huge adoption immediately. I don't think that's realistic. We got 6 women in Birthright, might get 7. I had one that was waiting on a payment to clear. And a lot of people might say, well, Natalie, that wasn't successful. Hey, Nat, you make $50,000 a month. I know what Birthright costs. Your launch flopped. But let's think about it. Let's be objective here. So objective 1, I created this program based on feedback over years. Some of that feedback is outdated. At the time that I started this money mindset pivot, a lot of people were in scarcity mindset because there had been an instant pullback in the market and people's sales were down. Now things have kind of leveled out, and most people have figured out how to maneuver this new atmosphere to at least be able to make enough money to keep the lights on, right? So 2, we made this program with no focus group, right? I will never do that again. I'm definitely going to have a focus group because I got so much insight from our first call that I'm going to be able to refine the curriculum and sales page and sell it better in the future. But for now, we did do some market research, but we didn't have an actual focus group where I could talk to people for 45 minutes and ask them questions. So the messaging was great, but it wasn't 100% dialed into the problem that folks were having now. It was dialed into a problem that people were having in January, right? 3, I'm not known for money mindset. You might disagree. You might be thinking to yourself, Natalie, that's not true. You've only ever taught me money mindset. And if that's the case, drop me a money mindset testimonial in the comments so I can put it on the sales page and we can bolster Natalie, the queen of money mindset. But in my mind, in our marketplace, I was not known for money mindset. I'm known for actual financial advice from being a financial advisor. And I think that I am known for being a salesperson. I think anything in between is new. So anytime you have something brand new that you are putting out in the marketplace, you're going to have a learning curve on both ends. You're going to learn and the market's going to need to learn. We're going to open doors one more time this year. And after that, you'll have to wait until January, which is unfortunate because I would love for you to get your money together now. I digress. But you can't just expect people to have money when you sell something, or for them to be ready when you want to sell something, or for them to know exactly what's being sold. Because when we first positioned Birthright, it was maybe 90% mindset. And now it's probably 50-50 because it's got these additional financial management modules in it to help people with forecasting and planning, to help people manage their cash flow, and to help people set KPIs and goals. I assumed that people had CFOs doing that kind of stuff. I was wrong. At least at this revenue level. The 100K to 500K crowd normally doesn't have a CFO and isn't doing any kind of forecasting. I didn't know that. So now that I know that, I can improve the program, I can improve the sales page, and I can sell it to more people, right? For a very first launch ever, for a brand new offer with a brand new name, with brand new copy, getting 6 people in it in less than a week is actually impressive. I think we just have to rewrite what success means. Getting 20 or 30 people in it wouldn't have been realistic. It might have been the amount of money that I wanted to make, but that's not the only metric of success in a program. And that takes me to my next point. You need to make sure you understand what success even means for you. Because I've had a lot of people go, well, Natalie, everything you sell just flies off the shelf, which is a lie. I don't know why people think that about me, that everything I do is successful. It's really weird. Because that's not true for anybody. There is no there is no person who is successful at every endeavor. And here's the thing, I'm a risk taker. And the more risks you take, the more loss you have. Common sense. If you only take one risk a quarter, you got the chance of years and years to go through without hardship. I take a lot of risk. A lot. Birthright was a risk, for sure. I would have made more money had I done another Down in the DMs webinar and had I sold people into some version of a sales program. I absolutely would have made more money, 100%. So I took a risk moving our company in a different direction towards the name. The name is unapologetic wealth, not unapologetic sales. So moving us into the arena where I feel like is appropriate is a risk. I think it'll pay off, but I think it's going to take some time. And I meet people who are like, Natalie, I did this launch. I put this new program out there and only 2 people bought it and I'm a failure. And it's like, well, one, how much did you promote it? Because most of y'all have launches that only you know about. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people's cart close announcement and I'm like, damn, I ain't never see where the cart was open. And I'm not saying you got to post 100 times a day like I do. I enjoy posting a lot. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. It brings me closer to my community. Apparently, I'm prolific. It's a word I had to learn because I thought prolific meant fertile. And I'm like, I ain't having no damn kids. Ew. What? So I was like, yeah, nah. But now I learned it's like just putting a lot of work out there. If you're not prolific, then your messaging has to be even more dialed in. Now, I am not a launch strategist. Don't hire me specifically for your launches because your launch gonna flop because that's not my gift. You need somebody strong in project management who can actually set the tasks for you to make sure that your shit get done. But a lot of times I find that people give up on their launch. They give up. So I had one person signed up until maybe the day before we closed. And then we had like 3 sign up the day before and then 2 sign up on the last day. And like I said, we've got one that was just waiting on a payment to clear and is going to join. I say this to say, if you give up, and I can tell when you've given up. You can tell when people post stuff, they start letting themselves down easy. Even if this doesn't sell well, even if this, even if that, girl, leave all that monologue for after the cart closed. Damn. It might still happen for you. Don't let people off the hook. Go close, folks. I definitely slid in some DMs like, hey, are you thinking about joining Birthright? Like, just flat out. I didn't do all that flirting that y'all tell me to do in the DMs. I literally was like, hey, I see you following my lives. I saw you come to the masterclass. Are you thinking about joining Birthright? And then I asked people who I wanted to join the program, why didn't you join the program? We're actually sending out an email today. So if you're on my email list and you didn't buy Birthright, you'll get an email. And it's literally going to be like, hey, I have a quick question. We want to make this program better. We want to make our launches better. Can you tell me why you didn't buy it? And you can just pick on the poll because ConvertKit has polls now. And that's that. The end. Like, it's not going to be difficult. So I think sometimes we don't do our part to get enough data before we say something failed. We just, oh, people ain't buy it. And then we start something else. My intention, we're coming up on February will be 4 years in business. Yeah. February will be 4 years. So we're about 3.5 years in business. My goal is by year 5 to have a solidified offer suite that doesn't change. For us to have 2 flagship offers, which will be Birthright. Birthright is going to be money mindset and financial management, like that foundational piece. And then New Money is actually going to be wealth coaching and investment support. So those will be the flagship. And then I'll still have private clients. I actually still have private clients. And my private clients usually come to me for revenue support, which is different than sales support, but all encompassing the things that can bring revenue into their business. And we'll keep that up, right? The website's going to be updating. You'll be able to go, hey, want to make more money? Click here. Want to build wealth? Click here. So I'm excited about the website getting clearer. But a lot of times we just give up too soon. And we don't do the follow through to make something successful. Like, Birthright is it. We made up in our mind, this program is happening. It's selling. We're keeping it. We're selling people into it for years and years. It's going to go ongoing until God tells me to stop doing it. That's what's going to happen. So once you're resolute like that, things will fall in place for you. People will buy Birthright because it's an excellent program, and because I believe it's an excellent program, and because I'm not going to stop beating y'all over the head with it. Because I know there's somebody right now watching this thinking, I don't know how to forecast and budget. I don't know how much money we're going to bring in January. I don't pay myself enough money. Yeah, we're making 6 figures, but where does it all go? I spend on some of anything. I don't know how to do intentional spending. I've never felt in control of my money, Nat. I should join Birthright. Is somebody watching this right now? One of the 14 people watching this right now is thinking that right now. That's why you keep going. And sometimes I feel like y'all just be selling stuff that you don't even care about. That, to me, is against the marker of success. Your marker of success should not just be, did I make a sale? It was, did I change a life? And did I sell something that's easy for me to deliver and easy for me to delight? We've had one call and people are already like, this is way better than I expected. That tells you how low the bar is. The bar is in hell with coaching. You can pay somebody $20K that act like they don't even know who you are and they don't even know what you sell and they don't give a damn about your progress. I know. I've met them. So like, give yourself some grace, but also show up fully. You know, the biggest mistake I probably ever made was not being a personal brand or authenticity coach. Because if y'all would just show up as yourself, money would rain out the sky. I don't have to be nobody else. Okay? I'm going to show up with my hair like my hair. I'm going to show up with my acne like my acne. I'm going to show up in my own office, in my own house, with my grown out nails. And y'all are still going to be like, oh, gel on myself. I'm still going to sell. You know, I think people's relationship to perfection is so toxic because there are no such things as perfect individuals. There are no perfect humans. So I'm not really sure why we would aspire to be something that's impossible. That seems like a really painful way to exist. And I think people pay me because I'm not perfect, because I have been through it, because I have filed personal bankruptcy with a finance degree and it sucked, because I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaches who didn't give a damn about me. Because I have had to make really tough decisions in my business about who I'm going to keep and who I'm going to get rid of. Because I do know how to set KPIs and stick to them. I think because I do show up as my whole self all the damn time and it's consistent. You can go back and watch a Facebook Live from 3 years ago and I'm going to be talking the same thing. Maybe the offers change. Maybe the names of the offers change. Maybe the prices of the offers change. But I'm me. And that is super powerful. And when we think about our relationship with success, if you got to show up as somebody other than you, that ain't successful to me. That ain't successful. If I got to be somebody else to get your money, I failed. You know, and my relationship with failure is not great. I do not like to fail. And so that's why I think it's important, especially if you're that type of person, to reframe what you consider success. What makes something successful for you? And how realistic is it up against your other initiatives? So you got some homework. It's October 24th. You might already have started your Q1 planning, but if you anything like me, Q4 is still up in the air. So I need you to get clear on what are your 2 initiatives for the whole quarter. And work towards only making investments of your time, energy, and money that lead to positive outcomes in those 2 initiatives. And if you start to consider, maybe I should go on this retreat, maybe I should sign up for this program, maybe I should do this, ask yourself, is there leftover money in my personal development fund for me to be able to buy this, even though it's not in my quarterly initiative? And if the answer is no, don't get it. It is okay to pause. There's a retreat I really wanted to go to. It was only $3,000, but it's in June. And it was around speaking, which is not one of my Q4 or Q1 initiatives. So I had to ask myself, Natalie, are you okay with tying up $3,000 for something that's not until next year, that is not in alignment with any of your objectives right now? That's 1. And then 2, do you even have $3,000 left over in your personal development budget? Let me tell you, I do not. I overspent on coaching. I overspent this year. It was crazy. And I don't even want to go down that road because you never know who watches these, but it's been a lot. So the answer is no. So I would have to borrow from next year's personal development budget to be able to buy this retreat right now. And that did not feel prudent for me. So if there's still tickets open in January, I'll go. And if not, I'll go to the next one. Lord willing, I'll be alive and he'll be alive and I can go later. But I feel like a lot of times we don't have any restraint. And that's what makes all of our projects fail. I was sitting through a quarterly planning program. I'm a terrible planner. I'm the worst planner you've ever met in your life. I make myself go to quarterly planning meetings because I'm hoping that maybe something will absorb one day that will make it not feel like a nightmare for me. We have an annual plan. It's like a 40-page document. I just be adding shit to it, but I don't like it. I don't pay like nothing in the plan actually happened. I think that's why I hate planning, because it just feels like I spent like 8 hours on a research paper and then the research failed. But working through my relationship with failure, so I'm going to keep doing the planning. Anyway, I was sitting in this quarterly planning meeting listening to the facilitator, and she was talking about two things. One, did your initiatives get completed? So that's a yes, no. And then two, were they successful? And I realized that half of our initiatives didn't even get completed. And that's because we had too many things going on. So I'm super proud that Q4 has been refined. Literally, we only have two initiatives this quarter. One is to launch and sell Birthright, which is happening. And that's a project because we're going to have, a free webinar at some point. I need to get a date on the calendar, but we're going to start having, some webinars and update some copy and make some adjustments, build out more of the curriculum, etc. And then we're also going to we're going to create another revenue stream, whether it's merch, whether it's finally getting my profitable podcast guest course up. I really need to do that. That needs to be top of the list. One of the women who joined Birthright heard me on a podcast. So I got a $5,000 client from being a podcast guest. And I do this routinely. Like I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. If you are not closing clients from being a guest on podcasts, put the word podcast in the comments. Maybe that will incentivize me to do it. You know what I really might do? Here's what I'm probably going to do. I am probably going to charge like $199 and call it a workshop and teach it live and then bundle it and sell it. Because if y'all pay me, I'll show up and do right. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to launch the Profitable Podcast Guest Training and just get y'all to pay for it, and then y'all can keep it, and then we'll just sell the replay. Because it's so great to be able to get, like, it's routine for me to get people from podcasts. So that's our goal. 2 goals. 1, to launch and sell Birthright. And 2, to get one other income stream up and running. That's it. Everything else is on pause because we're trying to get a YouTube channel up, trying to get a public podcast up, trying to convert the private podcast from a one-time purchase to a monthly purchase, trying to get merchandise up. You can't do all this stuff at one time. You just can't unless you have a really big team. But if you're doing less than $1 million in revenue, you don't have a really big team. You don't. And there's opportunity cost. So yeah, I can tell Terica, hey Terica, stop what you're doing and go work on merch. Stop what you're doing and go liaise with Angie Jordan so we can get this podcast done. Stop what you're doing. I'm finna drive to Atlanta. We're gonna rent out a venue and we're gonna record 100 episodes today. We're gonna edit YouTube today, send the recordings to the YouTube editor. I could tell Terica to do that, and Terica is my ride or die. She'll do it. But what is not getting done when I send my OBM off in who, what, where land? Someone has to be making the high-level strategic vision decisions in the business. Someone also needs to be making the planning, the when decisions in the business. Someone also needs to be making the how decisions in the business. And someone needs to be making the what decisions in the business. If you and your admin and your VA and your marketing consultant all get tangled up in the day-to-day what, nobody's manning the when decisions, the timing, which are really important, and no one is managing the big picture what. What are we going to sell? What do we stand for? What are our initiatives? What is our mission? None of that gets done if you all are running after the day-to-day decisions. And I'm super guilty of that. I have always spent the bulk of my time because I enjoy working in my business. You know how they say work on your business, not in your business? I love working in my business. I love coaching people. I love doing messaging audits. We actually brought them back. I had somebody beg me. She was like, Natalie, I know you pivoting, but I please let me pay you $500 so you can audit my stuff. And I brought it back. I might as well put the link in here. if you want me to audit your site, your social media for your message, information's in the chat. I ain't gonna promote it all the time, but I had somebody literally like just tell me what I need to do. So anyway, my point is, if everybody is focused on day to day, nobody's focused on next week or next month or next year. And so every month is a 4 alarm fire because you're like, crap, it's November next week. Well, hopefully you've got your KPIs already lined up. You know what your break even point is in your business. You know how much money you need to make. You know how many offers, how many of each offer you need to sell to make that money. And you know how many leads or etc. You need to get. Karen, if you're looking at this masterclass that's in this pinned comment, it's already happened. If you click on that link, it'll just send you to the replay because we only do it live once and then we just sell the replay to people. So we're not doing it live again. I just need to change my pinned comment, which I'll do when I get off this call. But you can still buy it. The masterclass was fire, by the way. It's a really good thing. I was proud of myself. Anyway, so there's setup, there's structure and a process. But a lot of y'all are probably like, no, Natalie, actually, I don't know what my break-even point is in November. I don't know how much money I need to make. I have not written out how many of each offer needs to sell. And I don't know what kind of lead metrics it's going to take to get there. Because what I find, and this is what I found out in the masterclass, if you buy the replay of the masterclass, you'll get this more. A lot of people track outcomes, like lagging indicators, but they're not tracking inputs. So people will track number of sales made, and they'll track like dollars collected. That's it. You're not going to track none of the stuff that leads to the dollars being collected. Baby, I used to have a spreadsheet. I tracked everything. I've streamlined my KPIs because I was doing too much. But if you still sell via sales call, you need to be tracking how many sales calls got booked. If you sell via webinar, you need to be tracking how many registrations happened, how many emails got sent, how many clicks on the emails, how many opens on the emails, how many people showed up live, how many people bought right then. How many people bought later? If you have a quiz or a lead magnet, are you like tracking the hits? I can tell you how many people went to the sales page for Birthright every day, every week. We're tracking that stuff. So you can't just track money collected because that's just the output. The money that got collected is a result of other actions that you need to be taking. And I found out in that masterclass, a lot of people aren't taking any of those actions. They're kind of just like waiting, hoping, praying. Yeah, I'm not the team of thoughts and prayers. I'm more Christian than you realize. I love God. But faith without works is dead. And so I just wonder, where is the works? So I've been working on making the work more evident because everybody just doesn't know. Like, I come from a sales background where if you didn't have your KPIs, you couldn't keep your job. Like, you had to know how many dials you were going to make, how many people answered, how many messages you left, how many people you followed up with. Like, that was just a given. If you didn't know your numbers, you couldn't keep your job. And it dawned on me, everyone has not had that kind of experience. So everyone comes into entrepreneurship at different points. This is not to shame you if you don't track anything, but you need to start tracking something. Because the reason, a lot of times I'll meet people who've been in business 10 years who still don't have any kind of marketing strategy. And it's because they haven't been tracking any meaningful data. They don't know what works and what doesn't work. So it's hard to know what to do more of. I know the more I post, the more money I make, period. That's why I post so much. There's a direct correlation between number of posts and how much my audience grows. And there's a direct correlation between number of posts and revenue generated. That's why Unapologetic Wealth's owner posts all the damn time, because I make more money the more that I post. If I had a button I could press that would post every minute, I would, because I would make more money. I do Facebook Lives. If I do a Facebook Live at least once a week, I will get a client from it. Somebody who watches this will buy something. They'll buy my private podcast, Maybe they'll pay the $500 for the messaging audit. Maybe they'll buy this masterclass replay of There's Money Everywhere. Maybe they'll go to unapologeticwealth.com and poke around and buy something bigger. Maybe they'll book a sales call, but someone will do something as a result of this video you're watching right now. And I know that. That's because I track what happens when I do certain actions. So, when you're thinking about success, don't just think about the outcomes. Think about your inputs. What are you doing to give yourself the opportunity to create success? Everything's not going to work, but something will work. A lot of times we're just not doing the right something, or we're not doing enough. I meet people who are like, Natalie, I show up, I've tried everything, but then I go on their page and they haven't made a post in a month. And then I look at their emails and they haven't sent an email in 3 months. And then I look at their website and I'm super confused about what they do. And so it's like, maybe you've been thinking you've been trying things. Like, your brain will trick you. I learned this just from leading sales teams. You'll have a salesperson come into your office, an underperforming salesperson, and they will tell you that they are making dials all day and they don't know why they're not making sales. You go look at their phone and they've made 8 dials on an 8-hour day. So maybe their brain told them they were dialing all day, but they were not dialing all day. So I think sometimes we have it in our mind that it should be easier and we're doing enough and we shouldn't have to show up and do it. But I think that's BS. Today, in addition to doing this live, I'm sending out an email. Even though we don't make money from email, I am giving email my damnedest. I've sent 300 emails. We ain't made a penny from email. I'm probably going to send 300 more emails. I'm going to send emails till somebody buys from an email. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep doing it. It sucks. I hate it. I'm going to do it. I think sometimes we're just like, well, I don't like it or I don't want to. I don't really care about that. I don't really care about wanting to market. Businesses that stay in business market. Businesses that stay in business sell. Businesses that stay in business have a strong pricing strategy. It is what it is. So if you don't like those things, you're going to have to learn to get comfortable enough with those things to be able to train someone else on your team to do it when that's appropriate. But if you ain't making enough money to hire somebody, then you're going to have to fall in love with it. I'm in love with the idea of what unapologetic wealth can become. And my mission keeps me grounded on the days where I really don't want to be bothered. Today, I would much rather curl up in bed, but I have a lot to do, right? I have clients to check in with. I need to check in with my coach. I need to send off books to my ladies. I'm terrible with giving people in my name a community. The name of the community is Birthright. We really need a name. Unapologetic wealth, we really need a cute name. If you got a moniker for us, drop it in there because we need one. Tribes, that book, which really should be renamed because I know tribe is a derogatory word. That talks about how you need to nickname your community, and I've never been good at that. Anyway, I got stuff to do. If you waiting to be motivated, you'll probably never get anything done. I probably haven't been motivated one day this year to do any work at all. Motivated, no. I'm dedicated. I'm disciplined. I'm damn sure not motivated. Motivation is fleeting. So be careful with trying to lean too much on past success or what you think you're doing. Make a log of all of your marketing, sales, and money activity. You'll be surprised at how little it is. If you're not tracking it, you probably are overstating what's getting done, for sure. Last tip I'll give you is to have a meeting with yourself. I meet with myself every Monday and Thursday. On Monday, I track my KPIs. And on Thursday, I specifically look at my sales activity because I do most of my prospecting on Sunday. So on Thursday, I see how short I am, if I'm short, and then I make a short list of people I'm going to DM, and then I kind of go from there. So I hope that this was helpful. I will see you all later. Thanks. Bye.